Today I have chosen the readings of the Maundy Thursday. First reading is taken from the Exodus, chapter 12, and the second reading is taken from the John's Gospel, chapter 13. Normally on the Maundy Thursday, as far as my knowledge goes, many priests do not talk about the first reading at all, the 12th chapter of Exodus. They will talk only about the washing of the feet and the priesthood, all other things. Very rarely I have seen priests explaining the meaning of the first reading to the people. First reading is a beautiful reading full of meaning. Among the people of Israel, there were so many feasts. Harvest feast is a normal feast. And they used to have the reconciliation feast. That is, among them, there used to be misunderstandings, small fights here and there. And therefore, they used to reconcile themselves with their opponents. And one day was allotted for the feast of the reconciliation. So the reconciliation, feast of reconciliation, harvest feast, etc., etc. When the people of Israel were leaving Egypt from their bondage to the promised land, Yahweh asked Moses to instruct people. So far, they have been celebrating so many feasts. Let them combine all those feasts and they celebrate the feast of liberation. The Lord is going to lead them from the land of bondage to the promised land, and this feast has to be celebrated as the feast of liberation. And hence, the Lord Himself gives instructions to Moses how to celebrate this event. So far, you have been suffering a lot in Egypt. That suffering aspect has to be portrayed in your feast. So they were asked to eat some kind of greens which were not so tasty. That will signify the suffering and pain they have undergone in Egypt. And the blood was smeared on the doors of the Jewish people. All these symbols must signify the Lord is taking the people of Israel from the land of bondage, the suffering, to the land of liberation. This is what the first reading says. Second reading is another beautiful reading. One day, the school teacher, primary school teacher, asked his students to draw some drawings according to their taste. One competition was held. The primary students, some of them were drawings, some personalities, and some sceneries, some mountains, something like that. They were the small kids, no? They were drawing like this. And they all submitted. And the teacher was going through their drawings one by one. One drawing attracted the teacher. One small boy had drawn the scene of the Last Supper. And that boy happened to be a non Christian. Teacher was very much taken up. How is it that a small boy, and he also happens to be non Christian, and he has drawn the Last Supper scene? That boy was awarded. Not only that boy, my dear brothers, I have heard from so many sadhus and others, they used to have great admiration for our Lord when he is at the feet of his disciples. One sadhu, one who has visited all the famous temples of India, remarked, I have gone to so many temples. I have never seen the Lord falling at the feet of his disciples and washing their feet. He is the great God. This washing of the feet by Jesus is attracting so many people, especially the non-Christians. And when we look at the scene, we know normally the disciples fall at the feet of the Guru. But here just opposite. Because among the disciples, always there was a fight. Who is the great among us? Who is the leader among us? I am better than you. All kind of the personality clash was going on. Having understood the mind of the disciples, Jesus did this purposely. Washing the feet of the disciples, which really surprised the disciples, really, I tell you. When you look at the reaction of St. Peter, we could understand how these disciples would have reacted to what Jesus did. This is a beautiful scene, I tell you. Yesterday we read in the gospel reading, woman caught in adultery. That also attracts so many non-Christians. So many non-Christians used to say, here is a God who is very human. That is what people used to say. Same way today. Washing of the feet. And secondly, the whole of the Lenten season, right from the beginning of the Ash Wednesday, we know prayer, renunciation, and then giving. These three are the three pillars of the church. If you notice the readings of every day during the Lent, one or the other will come. And the culmination of the Lenten season, the washing of the feet, this is the renunciation. And the priesthood, this is the service, giving, and then breaking the bread and giving. All these three aspects of the pillars of the church are reflected on these on especially the readings of the Monty Thursday. As we are all together, my dear brothers, may the Lord bless all of us so that we may be able to imbibe the Spirit of the Lord and so we may make our ministry more meaningful.